Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. Just want to, this is going to be a quick video. No, should I promise? No, I won't promise. But look, I just want to show you a quick few little electrical things that we've come across over the last couple of years to sort of point out what may happen to you. And, I suppose just something to keep an eye on because you may not be aware this is happening. One's to do with injectors and misfiring. One's to do with electrical wiring like your solar charging system, and one's to do with relays. We'll start off with the relay first. So this one here was approximately 5 years old, and you can see even though it was mounted in a position like that where you think this is waterproof and the water would run off this, the downside to it is because it's got a built-in fuse. As you can see, that is obviously where water perhaps was getting into it, because you can see the whole guts of it are rusted out. You can see the moisture in there, and it's obviously travelled around the edges also, around to, that would be around this side. I don't know if you can see how well you can see it. It's pretty dark here at the moment. I've got a fluoro light here, but you never know looking at it how well it's going to come up on your screen. So anyway, if you've got a product that's not working, always check your relays. They are pretty cheap to replace, pretty simple. So make sure that's working right before you go and replace the component. So that's the first one sorted. The next one is solar. Okay, so we had a solar extension. I'll just point out at the moment, this product is probably made in China. Doesn't say, but anyway, not that that would matter. This was probably made in China. Now what happened here was there was no power coming through whatsoever. So looking at that, it all looks good, and you can see the wire in the end there. So they've stripped it back, folded it over, all done by machine, I'd say. It could be wrong, and it's been crimped off. Looks good. Now with the other one, with the test light, we found no power, so that in no connection, whatever, right? So if you have a good look in here, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but that's what we had. The rubber, I believe this is the rubber that came off there. When we gave it a gentle pull, slid straight back. I think, I'm not sure which end was at the end we cut, whatever, but it just slid straight off. Okay, there was no copper left in there. Okay, so the machine or whatever it was, or the person, whatever it may be, that where this went in and got folded over, it actually pulled the wire, broke the copper, so it looked okay because it was all intact, the red insulation, but there was no connection there whatsoever. So if you're having trouble with your solar, just be aware of that, because that's something that can happen from factory manufacture. So that covers your relay and your solar extension. So I told you this is going to be quick, only 3 minutes, and we're 2/3 of the way there. Now this last one's to do with injectors. This is the plug that goes on the injector, and we've seen a few of these. This is not the only one. That's not the only one. What happened was, this is the way they're meant to be. They've got these little blue rubber grommets, I suppose you'd call it, on the back of the wiring here. A bit hard to slide it. Just wanted to slide it to show you anyway, but while I'm holding the torch with the other hand. Anyway, just show you what it looks like if I can, and how small it is. I'm not sure if you can get an idea from my finger the size of the wiring there and how small it is. Have a good look at that. Now, if people are yanking on plugs and pulling on these wires, it can quite easily break away. Well, I'll show you the one that's broken. I don't know if you can even see that, but I'll do my best to hold it still. I'm not sure if I could even get a pointer in there, but right there at that end of the crimp, where the end of my fingernail is there, is where it's broken away, and it's basically completely broken. There's one strand sticking out. And so we had one vehicle that came in, there was one that was running fine, but after the injector job, that may have been this one, after the injector job, it had a misfire. Now, having a look at that, luckily I was able to see, the way you spot this problem generally is these grommets here, they go in the back of the plug there, right? and there's a standard position where they normally sit, how much they sit out. So compare all the others, might be about 1 millimetre or something like that. If you see one that's out more than the others, that's where it's been pulled. So obviously we took the plug apart and had a look, and you could see where the wire basically, obviously someone had yanked, this vehicle had been worked on a number of times before and had quite a lot of issues, the usual sort of stuff we show you. And you could see from this one, I think I worked out that the one strand that it had left, it was the one that was almost sort of touching that it must have been running on when it came in. So long story short, we replaced the whole plug. At that point in time, we used to order the plugs with a short amount of wire, about 6 inches of wire, from a place in Mitcham in Victoria called EFI Hardware. So if you need these plugs or wiring or whatever, you can do that if you like. But what we do now is, when we're at the wreckers, if we're ever there to get a part, and there's not many parts we get from the wreckers for a number of reasons, that's another video. Sorry, I'm going on now, 6 minutes. Won't be much longer, it's all good information though. So when we're at the wreckers getting parts, you know, it might be a EGR cooler because they're $900 or something, and if one's cracked and we can get one for a couple $100, then we think that's worth doing. So if we're there getting that, then what we do, we go and check the wiring looms. Normally there's a whole bin full of wiring looms, and you can grab these wiring looms. I'll grab the plug and I'll cut the wire as far as I can back here, snip, and then there's another, I've got a collection of plugs and wires there. So then if I have to replace one on a vehicle, we just cut it off, and I can actually even use the same color wires and everything. So, and just obviously solder and heat shrink, so it's OEM, returned to almost original condition. Anyway guys, there's 3 tips I wanted to show you, things to avoid or keep a lookout for. I suppose we should caution, so don't be pulling on the small wires. You must be holding the plug with any plug on these motor vehicles, okay? This wire is very strong, but it is also very small, and the crimp area, you know, there's just not a lot of strength there. Now, you've got this little holder here as well that goes around the insulation. You've got, it goes into a plug, and then there's a grommet, will take up some of that, but you just need to grab the plug. It's pretty simple. You need to make sure you press this tab in here. You can see it. This is just the injector one, for example. All right. You can see when you press it, see how that opens up? A bit hard to see, get the light in the right spot, so there you go. All right, so that's obviously close to the, and then when I push it, you can see it goes right out. Sometimes you need to get a really good push on those, push them in a little bit before you pull them, because if you pull on it and then push it, you've kind of jammed the plastic of that clip there against the injector solenoid, and it's not going to be able to slide out to release, if you know what I mean. So be careful how you're doing that. A couple other little tips. As I said before in other videos, please watch the videos till the end, because the questions you're asking are covered in other videos. So if you do come onto our Facebook groups and pages, you know, it's good to ask questions, but have a search in the group first. Have a look at the videos, because the information's there. If it's not, we'll make a new video like this right here. I'm usually on holidays, taking leave on all school holidays. Sometimes we're available for parts, but of course it's pretty much a one-man band. I've got people in place to look after things and send out parts while I'm away, but it's much easier to do while I'm not away, because after all, I'm meant to be on holidays. If I'm away or not, doesn't mean I'm on away if I'm on holidays. But look, so if it's school holidays in Victoria or any other state coming up, please try and plan around that. If you do need to contact me, the best time is Monday mornings from 9 AM. I don't work on weekends or public holidays. It's really a school hours thing, 9 till 3, 9 till 3, Monday to Friday, with Monday being the best day for parts. Other days are the days we'll book in vehicles for servicing or repairs at the Prado Hospital. Bada bing, bada boom, there you go. We kept it down for 9 minutes. Lucky I didn't promise, but that's not too bad. That kept it short, but like I said, all important information. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Stay safe. See ya.